Hey, I'm Tony Scott. Thanks for watching Talking 360. Kim Smith is a woman of many talents. She juggles a gym, the KISS Studio here in the St. Louis area, and she writes books. And she's been like a professor. She's done all kinds of stuff. And she's written a new book that's called She's Got Her Own. You can get it in Kindle version or the paperback version, and we'll put the links down below. But I was reading some things about the book, and I was looking at some of the reviews. Keisha, she says she read it, started on a Monday night and finished on Tuesday night. And Monique says she read it in 3 days. And people say it's a page turner, Kim. And man, I think you got one. You done run into one, huh?
It just hits on a lot of topics.
Yeah, that's the thing, because you're writing about two people who are married, who really want to make their marriage work, their family work. And they're looking for some personal happiness, too. And see, that's the challenge, is trying to find the balance. But you write about Sheree and Brian. Is that the deal?
Yes, Sheree's the wife. Brian's the husband. Sheree has left a really high-paying job because their son, Brian Jr., is misbehaving at school.
Oh,
So that hits on another hot topic, the homeschooling aspect, and then how we view teachers in schools and what's happening, especially with our African-American boys.
But she left a gig. The child cost her a good-paying gig, man. She had to come home. So now that, and it's 4 kids, right? I mean, she's got 4 children, and she's trying to keep her sanity and keep her faith. And then here's this old boyfriend, and he thinks there's still something there, but she's married to Brian. And does Brian know about the boyfriend?
Well, sort of.
He
he knows about their history. He doesn't know that the boyfriend is trying to create a present.
See, that's the thing. And at the same time, Brian's a hardworking man, but he wants some recognition in the church. What does that mean? He wants to be the deacon, or what? I mean, what does he want to do?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I mean, and people get in churches because you don't necessarily have to have a degree or anything. Some people are there for the title. People have different motivations. So Brian is going for the head deacon. Of course, he can't get that role unless his wife is in complete support of him, and then that's a whole nother issue.
Well, and of course we don't want to give away the ending or anything like that, but it gets to be kind of rocky, because I think at some point their idea of the perfect family and combination, my happiness and your happiness, I think they're on 2 different pages. Which kind of reminds me, Kim, there's a new series that's starting on USA about this couple who seem to have it all, and then they just kind of both start messing around. And
I don't think people realize how easily you can go astray. I mean, it takes one little sip of unhappiness and one little temptation, and one temptation becomes.
But that's when your faith steps in, though, right? That's when your faith steps in, and that's when you really have to see what's up.
Yeah, you definitely need faith to get through something as difficult as honoring your marriage.
Now, without naming specifics, does any of this story, any of it, come from any personal experience?
Oh, my friends always are people who don't know me as well tend to ask, okay, are you Sheree? Are you the main character? And so I'm always like, no, Sheree just told me what to write. So each one of the characters told me their stories. In fact, there were some things that happened in the book that I didn't even agree with. There's no way I would have done a lot of the stuff that happened. But the characters told me what was going to happen.
Now, when you say that, Kim, what does that mean? The characters told you what happened. I don't understand. Tell me about that.
So you develop their personalities. They exist. They're real. And as you're writing the words on the paper, you as the author may not agree what's happening, but their characteristics, what happens has to fall in line with who they are.
Okay. So I'm interested, in Brian, because Brian, he's a good hard worker and everything, but he wants recognition from the church. He wants to be head deacon, and that doesn't seem like that's really. It doesn't fit into how I imagine Brian to be. Now, I don't know if you can explain that, but because it seems like Brian's to me, any guy who's a hard worker who's taking care of his wife and 4 kids is all right with me, but it just seems like his ambition to be head deacon. It just is he getting caught up in something that I don't know. Explain that to me, Kim. I need to know this.
Yeah, see, I can't tell you the end.
No. Okay. Well, if that's got anything to do with the end, don't tell me. So that makes it. So we have to get the book and read it then, because we got to find out what makes Brian tick. What makes him do this?
When you get to the end of chapter 15, you're gonna have a good idea of how everything is gonna play out.
Okay. All right. And it seems to me that Sheree, which is a very pretty name. Where'd you get the name Sheree from? It just came out?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it seems to me like Sheree, this other guy, this boyfriend, it shouldn't even matter. But something's going on in her marriage that causes, at the very least, this flame her ex is talking about, at the very least, there's an ember going on there that I'm not really happy with, Kim. I got to be real honest with you.
Well, I mean, if we look at the whole picture,
Yeah.
When we talk about the churches and him wanting recognition, and then, there's the whole part with Sheree who doesn't attend the church.
Okay.
That's a major issue when you have the husband in one place and the wife is in another. It causes a rift. And that's what we see happening when the ex-boyfriend pops in. There's these situations that have spiraled out of control little by little. And Brian thinks he has it under control, and so does Sheree. But they're not in control.
They're not in control. That's as they say, that's the rub. They think they are, but they're not. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking about like these characters in my mind. I'm thinking about, okay, we're making a movie. Who's gonna play who?
Right.
Who do I see? Who do I see? And I see someone like Sanaa Lathan being Sheree.
Oh,
all right?
I like that.
All right. And as far as the guy, it'd be easy. See, I'm thinking it's got to be somebody who, because the ex has to be somebody who's suave bolo, like
Right.
Boris Kojo, somebody like that, right? And then
Yeah.
the hardworking guy, Morris Chestnut. I don't know. Who do you see as being Brian?
See, it's hard. Yeah, Morris. I could see Morris, but I could also see, what's his name? He's not, maybe Omar Epps.
Omar Epps. Yeah, okay. I could see Omar Epps in that role, because almost like Morris Chestnut might just be too good looking for that role.
Well,
You know?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Too much suave.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Too much suave bolo. Then we want a sex scene. We don't want a sex scene. We want plot. We want a plot. I don't want a sex scene. I want a plot. So but I definitely see Boris Kojo as the guy who's looking for the flame. You know what I'm saying? I see that, and
light skin,
Have you thought about that? Who would play the roles? I mean, have you put your casting cap on? No.
No,
Okay.
never thought about it. Just wanted to start the story and finish it.
Okay, and it's a complete story. Is there going to be? Would think is a sequel or anything in it or anything like that? Not right now, maybe.
A lot of people have been asking for it. They want to know, what else happens. But right now I'm working on a whole nother project.
Okay.
So.
I could actually see this being a play also. This could be, could be very, very good though. But I mean, you've written books before. This is your fourth book, I think.
This one, this is my first fiction
book. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was going to ask you that, because that was going to be my question. So what drove you to fiction?
Oh, I've always had a book. Before I became a fitness studio owner, I was a school teacher.
Okay.
And I taught writing. So whenever I had my students do a writing assignment, I sat down and wrote with them. This was a story that I started when I was still teaching.
Okay.
And one of my teacher friends she was just like, Kim, you have to finish this story. You have to finish this story. And so I actually did. And she sat down with me and we went through the story line by line, to make sure everything fit and made sense.
So how old is this story then? I mean, you did it when you were a school teacher. So how far back when this concept first popped in your head?
Probably about 7 years ago.
Okay.
Tell her I said stop.
So this story is about 7 years old then, really?
Well, it was.
In a sense.
It was started. So
Yeah.
I would say when I left teaching, I probably had about 3 or 4 chapters.
Okay.
And so was it January? In January of this year, I picked it up again and just hammered it out and had it done by April.
So let me ask you this. What caused you to pick it up again in January?
I just had a little bit extra time over winter break, and it was just time to finish it.
Okay.
You know when it's time. You've had it sitting there. I talk to people all the time who have books and they're sitting there and they're not doing anything with it. So it was just time to believe in myself and go ahead and do it.
Well, you got one. You got one. She Got Her Own is the name of the book, and it's basically about a married couple, Sheree and Brian, and it seems to be a happy marriage. There's some every marriage has problems. I've been married be 20 years in about 3 weeks.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. Yeah, and there's always challenges. There's always. I mean, if you don't have challenges in your marriage, then you're doing it wrong. I mean, because that's what makes the great things great is
iron
how hard
sharpens iron.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, so in Sheree and Brian's case, I mean, there are problems, and then there are problems. The thing that makes it challenging to me, and this doesn't happen in my marriage because we've been together a long time, like 20. We've been married 19 years, but we've been together like 28 years. So, but the thing is it man, when that third party starts, when they start trying to wedge, wiggle their way into your life, but driving that wedge, just constantly just chipping away.
If you let them, yes, indeed.
That's what I heard. So, if you let them, see, that's the key, Kim, in this book. Does Sheree let this guy? Does she let him in? Mm-hmm. Do they go there? Does it happen? That's the question that everybody's going to want to know, but you're going to get the answer when you get the book.
Yes.
And the book, She's Got Her Own. Again, it's $8.99 for the Kindle. And that mees you can take it anywhere you want. I mean, the cool thing about a Kindle is that, it's like a book, but it's not. Because it's the size of a, whatever it is. I mean, but it's not like a book. But then there are old school people, they like the feel of a book. So you can also get that in paperback. So that's kind of cool. And you can pick it up on the internet. You can pick it up. Can you pick it up locally in stores around St. Louis?
I have it at the studio.
Okay.
Kids Fitness Studio on Lindbergh out in Florissant. Mm-hmm. Then I have it on my website, kimsmith.com.
Okay.
But it's also available on Amazon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it's a great book. And like I said, a couple of the reviews that I just mentioned are there. There's some more reviews, too. A page turner. I couldn't put it down. This, that, and the other. So, man, I think you hit it out of the park, Kim. Your first time on fiction. I think you did pretty good.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, that's really good. So, Kim Smith's book is called She's Got Her Own. It's the story that we all go through in one way or another. You may not have a problem with someone trying to wiggle into your marriage, but there are other things there. The child who keeps misbehaving to the point where you got to quit your job. Maybe the husband who's a little bit too ambitious. It may not be the same story, but the blueprint is kind of like in every marriage, I think. And I think that's what makes it so relatable. And it's not what we call a chick book either.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a guys, we could read this too and get some, and you might feel some kind of way halfway through the book. I'm just saying. So
my dad loved it.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My dad, he especially liked the pastors that are in the story. Mm-hmm. But I can't tell you too much about that.
Right. No, I want you to do that because there's so many turns and twists in this book that you've got to pick up a copy of this, and you're gonna. I mean, Kim's dad likes it. I mean,
right.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? And parents are usually like the worst critic.
Right.
They're their harshest critic is, I didn't know you thought about things like that. So, I mean, it's always something like that. So if dad likes it, it's all good. So pick up a copy. Again, you go to kimsmith.com. You get it on Amazon. You get it at her Kids Fitness Studios in North County. So, Kim, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tony.
All right. And thanks for watching Talking 360. I'm Tony Scott, and we'll see you again real soon.